Rather lads, welcome back to the Cossy Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. This is the latest Arsenal news and transfer news as well. The Arsenal transfer window is becoming as exciting as it could. Now we have an exclusive on Viktor Gyokerez from Cossy, who are confirming that Arsenal are preparing an initial bid for the player. But we also have an exclusive on Ivan Toney from Alex Cook saying that Arsenal are still very much interested in Ivan Toney, although at the moment they're unlikely to make a bid for Ivan Toney. Obviously, because we are still looking at Viktor Gyokerez as our number one target. We have information on the Jakub Kiwior situation from Fabrizio Romano, and we also have information on the Mikel Merino deal being very, very imminent. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. It's a very good time to be an Arsenal fan in this window. I mean, we did start off well, but at the moment, things are working and moving in our round good direction. Now, the exclusive from Cossy says that Arsenal prepare to open talks with Sporting over the signing of Viktor Gyokerez for around 55 to 60 million pounds. Sporting want 86 million pounds, and the clause should be paid in full. Chelsea are also wants to watch for this one as time goes on. So Chelsea are there. Arsenal are preparing to open talks with a bid of around 55 to 60 million. Sporting are still saying we want 86 million if this is going to happen, right? So, I mean, let's break it down. First and foremost, yesterday it was reported that Arsenal are going to continue to monitor and look at the player, Viktor Gyokerez, as he plays through, his comeback from injury. And the first game against FC Firenze, he scored a hat-trick. That is all you need to know, Arsenal. Mikel Arteta, that is all you need to know, that this guy is the real deal. A hat-trick after a knee surgery. I don't think you need more evidence. I don't think you need to look at him any further. But the exciting part of this story is that Arsenal are now preparing a bid 55 to 60 million, and this is meant to open talks with Sporting, and this is not actually conclusive. So this means that Arsenal's initial bid, which is going to be around 55 million to 60 million, is just to open negotiations with Sporting Lisbon. It is not the conclusive bid. Whether it is accepted or rejected, it really doesn't matter. It's about starting conversations. It's a little bit what Marseille did with Arsenal with the Edin Ketia situation. They came in with a low ball offer, and Arsenal said, no, this is not going to work. But what it did, it opened up negotiations between the two clubs, Arsenal and Olympique Marseille. And as we speak right now, talks are intensifying. The deal is going into advanced stages and things like that. Now, when it comes to the Viktor Gyokerez deal, I've already told you, I have a feeling, and my gut feeling says Viktor Gyokerez is the one. When I look at all the other strikers that Arsenal want on the market, they've either moved on or they're simply too expensive and their deals don't make sense. Isak, 200 million, that doesn't make any sense. Osimhen, 130 million euros, release clause, that doesn't make any sense as well. And then you look at the likes of Ivan Toney. We're going to talk about Ivan Toney, but I think Arsenal have something they don't like about Toney, and for me, it's the age. I think it's about the age of Ivan Toney, but we'll get to Ivan Toney. So when I think about Gyokerez, I'm thinking about a player that ticks all the boxes for this Arsenal sign. They want a younger striker, they want a prolific striker, they want a forward that can score goals, and they also want someone that can play on the same pitch as Gabriel Jesus and someone that can play on the same pitch as Kai Havertz. I think Viktor Gyokerez ticks all those boxes, right? And even more. So for me, he is the real deal. So Arsenal's initial offer, I'm not even disappointed if we go in with a 60 million offer. That's a very good offer to begin negotiations for an 86 million pound player. Now, I want to make this clear. I am not for Arsenal paying 86 million for Viktor Gyokerez. I think that is a little bit too much, and I think we shall have been bullied. But also, this is about who badges first. Will Arsenal badge first and sign or agree to pay the 86 million? Or will Sporting Lisbon badge first and agree to reduce on the price of the player? It's about who's going to badge first. It's about who brings their price down first, right? Now, Arsenal are in trouble here. First and foremost, our need for a centre forward is going to intensify as Edin Ketia leaves the club. And more and more sources in Portugal and France are saying Gyokerez is being looked at as the replacement for Edin Ketia in the Arsenal squad. When we lose Edin Ketia, and we've not signed anyone yet, and you look at the transfer market, and you don't have good striker options, Sporting Lisbon are really going to press us against the wall, because they're going to tell us, guys, you don't have options. One, you've lost Eddie. Secondly, Gabriel Jesus is not reliable, so therefore you need a striker. And you look around the market, who are you going to sign? It's Viktor Gyokerez. Can you pay the 80 million? But I don't think Arsenal will pay 80 million. I think it's a deal that could go for around 65 million pounds, in my opinion, to 75 million pounds. I don't think we shall reach the 80 million mark. I don't think we'll get there. I think it's about 65 to 75, in that region. And I would be happy if we can agree a deal with Sporting for 70 to 75. It's a win-win situation. The player gets his dream move. I mean, who doesn't want to play in the Premier League? Gets his dream move to the Premier League and in the Champions League as well. Obviously, Sporting are in the Champions League as well. But Sporting gets some good money, 75 million. That would be very, very good money. And Arsenal get a prolific striker that can allow us compete with Manchester City. This is the best day of my transfer period as an Arsenal transfer reporter, because this is what I've always wanted. I've wanted Arsenal to go and get a proper 9, and with this kind of report, the Arsenal are preparing an offer, right, for 60 million pounds for Viktor Gyokerez. This is my best day. Now, I think the question to people who don't know Gyokerez is going to be, how good is Gyokerez and why are we stressed about him? Why do we want him? I'm just going to take 1 full minute to explain to you. Viktor Gyokerez is one of the top strikers in Europe right now. He had 58 goal contributions last season, and this is a guy that absolutely came out of nowhere. He came from the Championship, then to Sporting Lisbon, and he has been absolutely phenomenal. I mean, he's been compared to Erling Haaland. He's been compared to a couple of other players. But one thing I like about him, and I think the key factor that stands out about him, is he's a workhorse. When you look at Erling Haaland, he's a good player. No question about that. But his problem is that when it comes to off the ball work, when it comes to his overall play, general play, I will agree with Roy Keane. He's kind of a League 2 player. But Viktor Gyokerez has got more to his game as compared to players like Erling Haaland, who are specialists at scoring goals, by the way, but they just can't help the team when they're not scoring goals. So Viktor Gyokerez to Arsenal looks like we are getting some little developments. Let's hope that that actually continues in the right direction. Now, today, the Sport are reporting that Mikel Merino's departure from Real Sociedad to join Arsenal appears imminent. Barcelona can only potentially sign the Spanish midfielder if they offload Frenkie de Jong, as his exit would create space for Merino's arrival, but also his exit would give them some bit of financial room to sign a player like Mikel Merino. Now, I want to make this clear with Barcelona. They are not going to sell Frenkie de Jong. I don't see how Hansi Flick is going to sell Frenkie de Jong. Frenkie is one of the players that 100% suit Hansi Flick's footballing style and footballing philosophy. So therefore, there is no chance in the whole world, right? There is no chance in the whole world that they sell him. So that's not going to happen. And I think Barcelona are out of this race. As simple as that. So Sport saying that a deal is imminent, a departure is imminent between Sociedad and Mikel Merino, and he's likely to join Arsenal. Again, this solidifies the reports that came out yesterday that the player had chosen Arsenal over Chelsea and over a couple of other clubs that were interested in signing him. Now, this report is a little bit of a regurgitation of what we had yesterday. At the moment, what I'm expecting as a concrete report is a report to say personal terms have been agreed, an offer or a bid has been made, maybe an offer has been accepted. That is the kind of report that we should be expecting right now. But when someone says a departure is imminent, when someone says a deal is close, yeah, I mean, we know that, right? We know that. We know that Arsenal have leapfrogged at ATM, Chelsea, Aston Villa, and Barcelona in all this situation. But we want more. We need more. But with the Mikel Merino one, I'm getting comfortable, guys. I'm getting comfortable. The only reason as why I'm not comfortable is the proposal on personal terms, which was, apparently sent in, has not gotten a response yet. So if we get a positive response from the player side saying personal terms, yes, green light, tick, I've agreed personal terms with Arsenal, then I'm okay. I'm okay to look elsewhere. I'm okay to go to the beach, get my get some time off as I prepare for the Premier League, because I don't even know what kind of content I'm going to be creating for the Premier League season. So I need some time off, right? But I can only get time off if we agree personal terms with Mikel Merino. It's not a very, very complicated deal at the moment, but we are hearing three sides of the coin now. One, that Arsenal are leading the rest. Secondly, that Real Sociedad are internally still pushing to keep Mikel Merino. And thirdly, that Atletico Madrid are not going to go away. So the situation is not as green as we want it to be, but at least we have some good information coming out of that camp. Now, TalkSport, through their chief transfer correspondent, Alex Cook, they're saying that Arsenal considered a move for Ivan Toney, but they look unlikely to follow up their interest with a firm bid at the moment. The question here is why? And it's got a couple of answers, right? It's got a couple of answers. Arsenal had firm interest in Ivan Toney, but they look unlikely to follow up their interest with a bid. The question is why? If we want him, if we like him, why are we unlikely to follow up our interest with the transfer bid? This is my theory. I think Arsenal are unlikely to follow up the Ivan Toney transfer interest with a bid because, one, they are strongly appreciating Viktor Gyokerez. Two, there is a possibility internally that they feel they can get Viktor Gyokerez. Three, the age. Those are the only plausible and possible, not possible, but plausible explanations we can go with when it comes to Ivan Toney. One, I mean, if you compare the two, Ivan Toney has done it in the Premier League, but Viktor Gyokerez as well is younger. So you have 2 more years of warranty and security, and it's got a better resale value. If we brought in Gyokerez right now and things don't go our way, and we sign him for 60 million, there is a chance that we can still recoup that 60 million in 2 years from now. With Ivan Toney, whatever you invest in him, I don't think you get it back. So I think Arsenal are leaning towards a younger striker. We are leaning towards an able striker, a serviceable striker in terms of, the edge as compared to Ivan Toney. But I also feel like there is an internal level of optimism around Arsenal that this Ivan Toney deal, this Viktor Gyokerez deal can be done. The other thing with Ivan Toney is the age. Like I said, 27, 28. Arsenal feel like he's getting closer and closer to his, I would say, evening days in his career. And Gyokerez is getting closer and closer to his prime days in his career. So I might also see it in that way. But what about the price? Because this is something that I don't understand. Brentford in January wanted 70 million. And the reason as to why they wanted 70 million was they didn't want to sell. They looked at the player as one key part of their squad. And they decided we would rather keep him rather than sell him in January. We are trying to survive relegation. Let's help Thomas Frank survive relegation by not accepting any offers for Ivan Toney. And we all say, that's okay, that's a smart move. Come this summer, he has not signed a new deal. I think you lower your expectations, and this is the time where you start accepting bids around 30 to 40 million. He's a 30 to 40 million pound striker. He's not a 70 million striker. He's not a 60 million striker. For Christ's sake, In the last 1 year, this guy has not played football. It's as simple as that. Anyone can say it. So for me, Ivan Toney, it could be the edge, it could be the price, it could be also that the player wants to run down his contract at Brentford and then get some good money in terms of sign-on fees, right? But we'll talk about Ivan Toney on my live stream that's coming up very, very shortly. Fabrizio has given us an update on Jakub Kiwior. He said Jakub Kiwior is not close to leaving Arsenal, as reports have been saying. Inter Milan appreciate him. AC Milan appreciate him. Napoli and Juventus appreciate him too. However, at the moment, we don't have concrete negotiations and concrete offers on the table of Arsenal Football Club. Now, the player has already rejected going to Bologna. Arsenal are saying it must be permanent or loan with obligation. That's why the likes of Juventus are still scratching their heads. That's why the likes of AC Milan are still scratching their heads. Because most of them wanted to sign him on an initial loan deal with an option to buy. Shame on you, Italian clubs. Absolutely disgusting scumbags. But anyway, guys, that is where we are with Gyokerez, with Merino, with Kiwior, with Ivan Toney. See you soon.